And coming up on the wrap tonight, Rand Paul gets ready to jump into the presidential race. Is he a candidate who should be taken seriously? Congress is already fed up with the president over the Iran deal. And Rolling Stone retracts its entire UVA fraternity rape hit piece, but the damage already done. Plus our potlucks and yay or nay. This is the Daily Wrap, live from New York City. And welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Joe Concha, fighting SARS or some sort of Ebola or some sort of cold, so you got to put up with this.
Keel over, we'll
That's
catch
why I'm
you.
sitting this far away from you.
Well done, John. Yeah, I sound like the sisters on The Simpsons, so bear with me, please. Joining me tonight, as usual, is my co-host, Forbes.com columnist, Sirius XM host, and the former pitching coach for the San Diego Padres. Wow, is that true?
LA Dodgers, LA Dodgers.
Dodgers, sorry.
And why am I sitting this close to you? I want to know.
Right down Route 5. Rick Unger also, not only does she add brains to the panel, but the beauty as well. Heather Hansen is here. I didn't write that.
I thought you meant
And
fun.
finally, Newsmax contributor and writer for National Review Online, John Fund. Okay, let's go to the Daily Download. And we're about to hear from Mr. Rand Paul in just a moment, who is our top story. Do we have some sound for Mr. Paul?
There's probably few candidates for 2016 that are more interesting than Rand Paul.
Rand Paul has been the most consistently principled person talking about issues.
The senator for Kentucky might just be the candidate who ends up winning this thing.
He's got the organization on the ground right now. He's in all 50 states. He's got young folks gravitating towards him. He's got African Americans taking a pause and looking at him.
To fix Washington, we can't have business as usual. Congress should read every bill.
And that was a small bite from campaign video that Senator Rand Paul released today. That's right, folks. He is officially running, although he won't formally announce until tomorrow.
Our future can include a road back to prosperity, back to respect at home and abroad. It should include a balanced budget and a simple, fair tax system. It should include a government that protects your rights and your security. It should include a stronger, better, more agile military. It's time for a new way, a new set of ideas, a new leader, one you can trust, one who works for you, and above all, it's time for a new president.
And that was Senator Paul at CPAC back in February, where he got a standing ovation and also won its annual straw poll. In his move to run for president, Mr. Paul has begun to position himself from being a straight libertarian to something closer to a traditional conservative. Today, in the Washington Post article, the observation was made that, quote, there are at least two areas where Paul has moved more in line with the conservative Republican base, somewhat to the consternation of the purists in the libertarian movement, adopting a more muscular posture on defense and foreign policy and courting the religious right. Politico got an early look at the Paul campaign slogan he will reveal tomorrow. And here's what it's called: Defeat the Washington Machine, Unleash the American Dream. I don't know if machine and dream actually rhyme, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And oh, by the way, isn't Paul already part of the Washington machine? According to Politico, Rand's top issues will include a flat tax, IRS reform, term limits, privacy, and justice reform. And joining us now is Katrina Pearson. She's a national Tea Party leader and former Texas congressional candidate. Katrina, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you.
So Rand appears to be sliding to the right in an effort to be more appealing to traditional conservatives. Is he winning you over?
No, he's not winning me over, simply because he is changing his positions on a couple of things, and I think it's quite obvious to the big L libertarians who are out there, particularly when he backed Mitch McConnell in the Senate race. And I think a lot of people felt like he was sort of making a deal with the devil just to make this run to gain some GOP support. But all in all, I think at the debates, we're going to find out who's true and who's not true, for that matter. I do like the fact that Rand Paul is pitching himself as someone who can reach out and bring more into the base, My concern is who is he going to be pushing away from the base at this point?
Don't most candidates, though, Katrina, move to the right or to the left during a primary and then in the general invariably go more to the center? I mean, isn't Rand Paul just doing what every other politician does when they're trying to win their party's nomination?
Well, he is, and that's what makes Ted Cruz look even better now, because he's the only one so far that hasn't flip-flopped on a position or changed his rhetoric going into his announcement.
Katrina, it's Rick Unger. You know, I have to say, I really respect your answer because you were accurate in what you said. Now, I've kind of been tracking Tea Party libertarians over the past couple of years, and they for quite a while, they do like Ted Cruz, as you point out, but they also had a lot of love, I think, for Rand Paul. Are you sensing that a lot of that has evaporated as Paul has taken some positions like supporting $190 billion more in defense spending? Things like that, are they now fully moved away from Rand Paul?
I think mainly the little L's are pulling away now, for that matter. The big L's are going to have a bigger issue with him, considering his support for Mitch McConnell and some of the establishment moves that he's taking now. But there is going to be a divide in the base. But I will say there's always room for a Liberty candidate. This will be the first cycle that I can remember of being excited about having a Liberty candidate on the ballot, whether it be a Ted Cruz or a Rand Paul, and we'll just see which one of the two can bring the whole base together.
Interesting.
Katrina Pearson, Dallas, Texas, thanks for joining us. She is the National Tea Party leader, and again, we appreciate your thoughts. So guys, we don't have a lot of time right now, but let's go around quickly.
Well, I want to challenge
John?
some of the premises here.
Sure.
First of all, you're a home state senator from Kentucky. Your fellow senator is going to be Senate Majority Leader, likely. You're supposed to oppose him. That is a guarantee that you're going to get a primary challenge. So obviously that's forgivable. The defense thing, 2 years ago when Rand Paul was calling for defense restraint, ISIS was a JV team, according to President Obama. And $190 billion over 10 years isn't a whole lot of money. And as for courting evangelical Christians, I have yet to see a specific example of a position that Rand Paul has changed regarding evangelicals or religious freedom or anything else.
I think what he does is he tries to avoid the question. He hasn't answered the question about Indiana, for example. He's one of the few who hasn't. On his recent website revamp, he removed immigration altogether as one of the issues. So I think he just tries to avoid things right now. I'll be interested in his answer.
Rick, 10 seconds.
I think what you just said is right. He has a history of avoiding, and this week, when we had major things happening, his whole response was, "We're on vacation. I can't answer."
I went to
question."
Disney World.
Yeah.
They didn't even win the Super Bowl MVP. Anyway, coming up next, an agreement may be set for Iran, but there's a battle brewing in Congress. We'll tell you about it next, only on the Daily Wrap on Newsmax TV.